Andrea Papito here. In this episode, I'm going to talk about 3 scenarios that I've received. Well, actually 3 types of consultancy inquiry from our clients, which are the most strange or most difficult, or I would say most weird to help. So we basically sometimes very requests from our client, extravagant requests. A lot of clients that try to ask us the way of avoiding paying taxes, also in situations where actually this is not possible. In this specific video, I just want to give you 3 of them, which are quite nice, but even though they seem like impossible to achieve, there are some truth behind it. Tune up the end of this video and I will tell you exactly which are those 3 scenarios I'm talking about. Before I'm moving forward, I just want to remind you that ESENtaxa helps people to understand their tax level if you want to relocate into a specific country, especially in Europe, and we help people to understand, indeed, in advance, if the relocation to a specific country makes sense, tax-wise. In the description below the video, you have our email contact, info@esentaxa.com, or you can visit our website, www.esentaxa.com. You can find all our information, our services, what we do exactly, everything in details. And also, if you want to book a consultation with us, you also have to book a 1-hour call, 2 hours call, or if you out 20 minutes call with me, with my colleague, or with our team. Back to the topic of this video, I just want to tell you which are the most weird requests that we have received, and actually how somehow in certain situations, even though those requests and those scenarios were weird, that we can fulfill this objective from those clients. The first thing that and this is something that happens quite often, the first request that we have received is that a family where, let's say, the father of the family wants to live in a country, the mother wants to live in another country, and the child lives with the parents. In this case, it was with the mother, or living in a specific country. Wants to just spare as much tax possible. He was obsessed by not paying taxes in his own country, and because of that, he came to us and he wanted to find with us a solution to keep married, keeping his status as a married person with a family. He was married with a woman, and he has child who were basically living in the same country where the wife was living. So all the family actually was living in the country, and the problem here was that he wants us to basically split out of the family only on tax level. And this is basically impossible. So this is the first scenario. This is a very weird request, because if you think about it, tax-wise, you cannot detach yourself from your family, because this is what it's called the famous family ties. It's one of the most important elements and, let's say, link that binds you to a specific tax residency. So if you are married, if you have child that are following the local schools or local universities, you cannot move in another jurisdiction and pay taxes only in the other jurisdiction, because the jurisdiction from which you are bound because of your family ties, he will still ask you taxes on worldwide income, and you're basically screwed. So the only thing here that what you can do is basically divorce out from your family, from your wife, and your wife, she's supposed to declare to be in charge of all your child. So this is a very bad scenario. I wouldn't ever suggest such an operation just because you want to spare some taxes. But basically, this person was so eager, decided he wants to almost, I don't know if he had decided to go with this direction, because it's the only way is to be detached from your family formally. And then you can move for real, physically, in another jurisdiction. This is the only way to not pay taxes in the country where your child and your wife, basically your family, is living. Whenever I say it's family, this is important details. I'm not talking mother, your father. Families or the families always considered families in terms of child and your wife. One scenario instead was another client that basically he wants us to be a sort of digital nomad all around the world without paying taxes anywhere, which is the classical requests from digital nomads, but basically he wants us after a certain point to move to, if I'm not wrong, to Spain or to France. Basically, he wants to move to Europe. And the problem with this scenario is that you cannot be then nowhere, because one of those countries indeed wants to, at a certain point, link in their own territory, tax-wise. Now, this person was in a very weird situation. Actually, by default, it was in a situation of not being resident anywhere, because he was coming from one of those South American countries. Some of those countries, they don't care where you are living. He just declared that he was not living anymore there, and those countries, they don't care if other tax residence places. And he was basically running a business using an American company and basically receiving money into an American bank account. And the American bank accounts, American companies, they don't agree with the common reporting standard, so they don't exchange information with the rest of the world, while they always instead receive information from the rest of the world because of the American citizen. But my client was not an American citizen; he was just a South American citizen, one of the Southern American countries. He left this country and he was basically moving around the world without spending any six months in nowhere, and he was not paying taxes anywhere. Is that he cannot settle himself because this was his plan. The problem here is that at a certain point, when you move in a specific country, you have to justify all your money that are coming from your bank account. It's extremely important that at a certain point you have to find a place or a tax residence in order to continue. Maybe you can continue being a digital nomad, to have a base in which you declare your third. Instead, this was a very, very interesting one, because a client came to us and basically he came up with an idea that was, I don't want to pay taxes anywhere, like similar to the previous case that I was just describing. But in this case, in this scenario, he wants to live in a boat. He was a millionaire, but he was sailing with a yacht all around the world, and he was basically wondering, why should I pay taxes into my own country if I'm basically more than 6 months in the international waters? Okay, so that was his question. The problem is that here there are basically a practical problem and technical problem. So the flag of the boat, of the yacht, wasn't really the issue. The problem is that practically he couldn't work always from the boat. He has to basically dock in some harbor. Practically the things is very difficult to obtain, but theoretically it's possible. But whenever you have the situation, you always have to, at a certain point, have a base tax resident in a country with a zero law taxes, so you can basically residence there, and then you can move around the ocean or the Atlantic Sea, the Pacific Sea, wherever you want to go, continuously for the rest of your life, basically paying your taxes in your country of origin, because the problem is always the country of origin, the country from which you are basically escaping from. It's a country that is still asking you taxes, because the country from which you're coming from wants to have the proof that you basically switch the residency, the tax residence, in another country. Okay. The only exception to don't pay tax for the employee, certain boat or for example, all those employees tax exempt in several countries. So they are still tax resident in the country from which they are coming from, but only on the employee income. So they are employee, they are waiters, they are cookers, they are chefs, they are the captain of the boat. All this kind of personnel that receives basically they receive a sort of employee income. They will be tax free, tax exempt country. This is a classical situation. A lot of countries agree all to give to those persons that pass more than 6 months on the boat for working reasons, okay? But you have to be employee, and basically you have to make sure that your country applies for this specific situation. So you can move around the ocean if you want and don't pay any taxes, but still you have to have a tax residency, because at the end of the day, if you want to go back to your country, you have to anyway declare your income and prove that all this money that you have gained are coming from a clean source, and it's not just black money or second money or whatever they might assume. Okay, I hope you like this video. It was a very particular video this time because I was trying to explain you some weird borderline scenarios, and if you are in one of those situations, or if you feel to be in one of those borderline cases, we can also help you to understand, to clarify if you want to relocate to a specific country. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. And don't forget to notification bell, like button to be always updated whenever we release this kind of video. See you to the next content.